Hello there and welcome back to my workshop. This is the beginning of our new project. It's going to be a shaker wall shelf. Jolene and I have been rearranging furniture in the other room over here, and we now have a nice big open spot that would be just perfect for a shelf. So we looked around and we picked out a design, and we're going to be making a shaker style wall shelf. Let me show you this sketch here. You saw this last time on the Halftails show. You can see what we're making here. And after that, I have since made a cardboard full-scale model of it to give me a better sense of the proportion. And you can see it here. It's got 3 shelves, has 3 drawers, has an open back. These backs will be open, and it has an open top. Now typically you would have a board going across here, maybe dovetailed into the sides to provide some support there, and also maybe some backboards in here when nailed on would also provide some structural support. This does not have that. It does have a board along the bottom here that's joined to the sides, but from here on up, there's nothing holding this together but these shelves here, and they would normally be held with dados, and I want to use something a little bit stronger, something with more structural strength to it. So what I'm going to be using is called a sliding half-tail joint, and let me show you what that is. You can see it here. Hope I'm holding it right. Imagine this is the end of the board here. You can see one edge is dovetailed, and that makes it a half tail. And then the socket board, corresponding socket board here, also has a half tail, and it goes together. Let me show you like this. And that, when joined together and glued, forms a really strong, structurally strong joint. So I think that's going to work just fine. Now, for this joint down here, this is going to be a half tail as well, but I'm going to have a slight variation of it. It's going to be a tapered sliding dovetail. And let me show you that. Let's see here. Okay, this one here, I'm holding it, I hope correctly. It's actually wider here and narrower down here. It's slightly tapered by about 1/16 of an inch, not much. But when you put it together, let me turn this around. Okay, when you put it together, what happens is, you see at first, it's real loose because it's tapered. But as you slide it together, that taper closes up and forms a really strong joint, just as strong as the other joints, but without the risk of binding and catching when you glue it together. So that is the plan. What else here? Species of wood. I'm going to use cherry. I really like cherry. It grows here, readily available in Pennsylvania. I used it on my last project, and I've got our boards here cut to approximate size. I've used my hand planes and also a thickness planer to get them just where I want them. I've got a couple more to do. The sides are going to be 9/16 of an inch thick, and the shelves are going to be 7/16 of an inch thick. I'm trying to get away from that 3/4 inch look on everything, so I think that is going to be proportionally a lot nicer. So that's the plan. I'm going to finish up on our boards, and then we're going to move right on to the joinery. Okay, that was a rather abbreviated view of all the sawing and chopping and planing to get these sides dovetailed onto the bottom. And now it's on to the most challenging part of this whole project, and that is the sliding halftails. And I've got my cherry sideboards marked in pencil, and you can barely see it here, I'm sure. And not to belabor this, but I've also marked my pine sample board in pencil to show you what we're doing. And this is the tapered sliding dovetail here, and you can see that it's tapered. And then for the upper three shelves, they're going to be non-tapered dovetails, and you can see that one down here. And then what I've done is I've made some saw guides, a 90-degree saw guide for my 90-degree cuts, and then a 14-degree saw guide for my dovetail cuts. I'm using my Ryoba saw. I rather like this. I mean, you can use a back saw too, but this is my new toy, so we're going to try this out. Okay, so let's get set up and we'll start sawing. Okay, I've got my saw guide clamped onto my board here, ready to make the first of our two cuts on our tail socket. Here we go. Okay. I want to be careful not to overcut my lines here. That would weaken my sides. And one thing that really helped me here was I took a fine tipped marker and marked the depth of my cut along the edge of the saw here. And that way I know exactly how deep I'm cutting, and I can cut more accurately that way. So that's looking really good. And now I just have to do the rest. Now what we have to do is the other half of our tail, and that's the angled cut. So I have my saw guide here with a 14-degree angle on it. I'm going to clamp that in position. Okay, good and tight. All right, now just have to saw that one. Are we ready?
No.
Okay, here we go. All right. That's about as far as I'm going to go. I have to be very careful because I can't see this side from here, and this is the show side. So I'm going to take a few more minutes and get that just right, and then we'll come back. And our saw cuts are made, both boards, to depth. You can see here I used a wheel gauge to mark the depth, and that's half the thickness of my sideboard. And also you'll notice that I made a third cut here, and that's a relief cut. So it's going to help me with chopping out the waist here. And that's what we're going to do right now. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to be very careful here. It's kind of chippy, and I don't want any chips. This is the show side, and I just want to make sure that that's perfect. Before I go any further. Very chippy, this wood. Okay, now all right, our tail sockets are done. I think you saw how I did that. I used a chisel at first to chop out most of the waist, and then I came in with my router and took it down to its final depth. It worked extremely well. Very happy with how that turned out. So now it's on to making the tail portion, the sliding half tail portion. And here's what I came up with. I was thinking about freehanding it, and then I thought better of that, and I came up with this system here. The board is clamped to my bench top, and then I have a chisel guide here that I made, and that has a 14-degree bevel on it. And that's going to guide my chisel as I remove the waist here. And you'll notice that this has a slight offset to it. It's tilted slightly. And that's going to give me that ramped, tapered tail that I need. So that's what that's there for. So I think we're set to go. You ready? All right. Glasses on, and here we go. This is so much better than freehanding. Much quicker. Okay. Well, let's just give that a try here. I think we're close, but I don't think we're there yet. Okay. Here we go. Wow, that is really close. I think one more pass and that'll be just fine. So I'll do that, and when we come back, we'll take it from there. And with a little more paring, I think that fit's going to be just fine. Let's try it on here. Trying to reduce the amount of wear and tear on this joint. All right, now it's on to the other end. And our ends are finished. See them here? Worked out really well. And I really like the guide system we have here, because I could incrementally and very accurately pair the ends of the boards for a very nice fit. And all I really needed was a couple of pieces of scrap wood and some clamps. So let's put this together and have a look. Are you nervous? I sure am. Let's put this together. I don't want to overstress my joints, but I want you to have a look at it here. Here we go. Okay, we'll drive it all the way in during the glue up. Now, you tilt this up here. Whew, there we go. Okay, so this is going together nicely. We're going to finish up now, and in our next show, what we're going to do is the 3 shelf boards here, and then of course we have to do the 3 drawers, and have to glue it up and also apply a finish. So we're getting there. Thanks for stopping by, and see you next time.
Wasn't that great?